Okay, so today's topic is something regarding cortisol. Let me break down this you to first. So let's start. Have you ever felt stress without any reason? Have you ever felt tired even after sleeping? Gaining weight unnecessarily without any underlying conditions, without any extra eating. Okay, so have you ever felt anxious, exhausted, or feeling stress unnecessarily even without having any reason, or maybe there is a light factor which is making you stress. So there is a reason why we feel this way particularly, or the things which happen in our body basically. So this is because of the hormone called cortisol. Okay, so cortisol is something which is secreted in our body as a support for our body, for the mechanism of our physiology, right? So this is the one hormone which I'm gonna talk about, and the factors and the things which are in the underlying condition. So welcome back to my channel. This is Pooja. I'm a physiotherapist, and we are going to understand what cortisol is and how chronic stress affects your body, and most importantly how naturally we can manage it on the ground level and basic level in our day-to-day life, right? So let's get started. And firstly I'll be letting you know about cortisol. Like, what is cortisol? Basically, what is cortisol is a hormone which is secreted from our adrenal gland, like sitting in the top of our kidney, right? Basically, so our cortisol's need, our body's requirement is managed by cortisol somehow. Okay, so we need that cortisol. Why we need that? For getting alertness basically. Like when we are sleeping, we need to wake up 9 a.m. in the morning, right? Managing our blood pressure, reducing inflammation, regulating blood sugar, and what more, like also helping to fight with the stress. So this is a few things. Cortisol is why required in our body for various factor playing role with the different part of our body, right? So why we manage feel stress particularly. So the thing is that think of cortisol as your flight and or emergency body response. Basically, when you are in danger, cortisol helps you to react quickly, increase your alertness, and manage your energy basically. So the problems begin, I mean, if the hormone is important, so why do we need to worry about it, right? But yeah, when everything, anything in our body or in our life happens on double level or maybe increased level, that's when the problems start, right? So the thing is, cortisol is something, a hormone related, stress related hormone, which help us to manage the stress and everything. So, okay, so the problem begins when the chronic and cortisol stays elevated for longer duration in our body. Okay, so that maintains the stress level basically. Okay, and we feel it more. So how chronic stress affects our body basically in relation to cortisol, we will understand this. Okay, so in today's world, stress doesn't come from wild animal chasing us, bada sa hathi ya bear aapke piche pad gaya and you are stressed about it. Life doesn't walk like this anymore, right? So how the modern lifestyle is working is some due to the work pressure, exam pressure, family pressure, personal issues, relationship issues, poor sleep, not exercising. So these are the factor why we are stressed. Mainly I would say the two factors which even I get stressed of is family and finances, right? Everything is, every rest of the thing can be managed, I believe, right? So this is why our cortisol levels keep increased in our body. Okay, so how you can know that cortisol levels are increased in your body? Okay, when stress become constant, your body keep releasing cortisol. So over the high cortisol can lead to physical symptoms like weight gain unnecessary, especially in the women's are not made to take stress basically. Even even I can't take stress. I mean, if I cortisol works differently in my body. If I am taking stress, I'll be thin. Okay, so I don't know, but in different people it works differently. So cortisol mainly like increase your weight in most of the people if your metabolism is not good enough. Okay, fatigue can be there, headache, migraine issues can be there, muscle tensions can be there. Stress is also like in men's body, like muscle tensions are generated when the cortisol levels are high, they are stressed. So high blood pressure, again, like men's get the most of the high pressure thing. So yeah, that is the level. Mental symptoms can be anxiety, irritation, poor concentration, mood swing, lack of ADH, right, attention deficit syndrome. So these are the factors which we face due to the cortisol level. So what can be, these are the like little factor like in daily lifestyle or like are in personality, but what is the long term effect? In long term effect, you can people who take like more stress due to cortisol, or like more cortisol levels in their body, they will be getting like heart problem, weak immune system, sleep disorder, waking up in the middle of night, diabetes, and many more. Signs and symptoms why your cortisol level may be high. So feeling tired but unable to sleep, right, craving sugar in the middle of night, frequent illness, right, difficulty to losing weight, and brain fog, poor memory, feeling overwhelmed, like women who have like PCOS, or like men who are getting body cramps and everything. So in that way you can know that somewhere your cortisol levels are high. Okay, and it doesn't happen like in a regular way, I would say, but it happens in general, like for example, if I'm like stressed for this week, my body will be stiff, I won't be able to like sleep, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, or anything. Okay, so this is how things are work in our body. It doesn't like necessary that it will affect right now, but yeah, it can affect after 2 days, it can affect after 10 days, depending upon body type also, and how you're taking your stress level or what you're doing to manage it, right? Let's talk about the 5 ways in which we can control the cortisol level in our body. So first thing is that prioritizing quality sleep. How quality sleep is important and what should be the proper way. So the first thing is that a lot of people like say that they sleep 6 hours and they are fine, they say 7 hours and they are fine, right? But what I prefer, like minimum 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very much important, like male or female. Okay, go in between, like even if you're not walking, not able to sleep in the middle of week, like 8 to 9 hours, to try to sleep more on the weekend at least, so that your body get recover, you get healed and everything. Okay, so consistent bedtime and wake up time is also important. Avoid screen time, avoid social media, avoid hard conversation while you are sleeping. So that is also like important. Exercise regularly. Second point, as a physiotherapist, I recommend highly, like this is my favorite recommendation of exercising, be it walking, cycling, yoga, strength training, anything like 20 to 30 minutes can walk. So also practicing deep breathing. So as I speak in my last video also about the breathing and meditation, this is also helps in the stress management, right? Drinking water also helps in stress management, again, as cortisol releases from the part of your kidney, adrenal gland, right? And something, when you drink water, is the blood is getting filtered by the kidney, right? So somewhere they are related to it. I can't explain the full physiology, but yeah, they are related, okay, in the basic level. So what can be the fourth factor? Like diet and eating habits, right? Very important. Like you need to figure out what you can like eat to get yourself like de-stress, so that your cortisol level decreases, or you can like find out the foods which decreases the cortisol level in the body. For example, like eating dark chocolates can be one of the thing, or eating like what having water, or eating like fresh fruits, cucumber, salad. These are the like basic things which we can eat to relieve our stress. For example, in the stress you're craving sugar, so you can go for dark chocolate. If you can go for like fresh food if you're hungry, right? So something like fresh and healthy things should be there. So how we can like manage it? Fruits and vegetables, lean fruits, lean protein, like fish is a lean protein, I would say, lean meat, right? Whole grains and healthy fats. Okay, you can go for nuts like almonds, cashews, kismis. All these are like dates. All these are natural source of superfoods, and fine with eating also. So reduce excessive sugar, processed food, and also excessive caffeine. Like people like proper, like earlier days they used to have tea, and now our generation is addicted to coffee, right? So whenever we are stressed, we just go for black coffee, or maybe like thing you're taking like post afternoon. I don't recommend people to take like caffeine or like coffee, anything like post afternoon, basically after 3 p.m. So this is one of the thing how you can meditate, like again breathing, meditation, praying, these all help. Reading helps, reading a newspaper, talking to people, listening music, this all help to reduce your cortisol levels. So final message with the cortisol level will be, remember that cortisol is not an enemy in our body. A little amount or appropriate amount is important to manage our alertness and emergency response. But yeah, increasing that through stress, what will happen that we will be always in the alert mode. For example, right now I'm shooting this video, okay, and I'm alert, right, I'm speaking, so somewhere my cortisol level are in appropriate manner, okay, but I can't do this for a longer duration. Like alertness for 5 minutes or 10 minutes is fine, but keeping this for 30 minutes, 1 day, 2 day, just think about it, right, what it will do to our body. Let me give you one example. There is one of my client, and she is like 38, she have a 2 sons, she is working, and she herself told me that her cortisol levels are high, and that's why she is not able to lose her weight. So I recommended her to be happy, to be calm and composed, right, and adapt some habit. So it is an essential hormone, and that helps us to survive and function every day, right? So we do need it, but we also need to manage it, okay, because our body is managing us, and we also need to manage our body. So the real issue comes when the chronic stress and the modern lifestyle that keeps our bodies in a constant state of fear. By improving sleep, exercising regularly, eating well, and doing all this activity will help you to overcome. Small changes create constantly makes remarkable improvement, okay. So thank you for watching my video. If you find this video a little helpful and knowledgeable, do like and subscribe for more content, and let me know what stress you the most. I mean, like your mother, father, your relationships, or your financial issues. I would bet like most of the people will go for financial issues, right? Managing it, handling well is the solution, right? So thank you, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching me. Do like, comment and subscribe, spread love, take care.